What's going on, YouTube family? It's Andrea here from VWFF Family Farm. As you can tell, I'm in my kitchen today. It's pouring rain outside, but as homesteaders, you know, if you have animals and especially gardens and all kinds of stuff this time of year, plant starts to take care of, all kinds of stuff, there is no days to stay inside. We are outside here on this farm 365 days a year. Now some days like today, it has poured all night. It's pouring, it's gonna pour all day. We won't spend all day outside, but we have to get outside and take care of the animals. We've got to go move cows. Part of the billboard I laid in the backyard had rolled up a little, so I got to go see if I can salvage the little plant starts I put in it, get it tacked back down because we had some major wind last night. But before I start any of that, I'm starting with breakfast. So I wanted to show you for my little experiment with the organic feed. This is the last little part of it. I told you it wasn't very technical, and I really meant it. It wasn't going to be like super long and scientific because I only had one bag of feed. But I want to show you what the eggs look like, especially like the yolks and stuff, because you can tell how rich and full of minerals and stuff an egg yolk is by the color. If they're really light colored, pale yellow, they're going to be more bland. They'll get all the way down to like a deep orange. So we're going to compare them. I've got Emily's washed them back here behind me because they were nasty. I don't like to wash eggs, but if they're really nasty, I have to. So they've been washed not just a few hours ago, so they're not been laying here very long. But anyway, I've got them separated out between the regular feed and the organic feed. So we're going to check those out. I'm going to have some breakfast and take you outside with me and show you around. I hope all of y'all made it through the storms okay, and your homesteads made it through fine, and pets and all those kinds of things, because I think it got pretty rough in places last night. So hope all of y'all are doing good. I wanted to share one little tip too, because I see people cooking in cast iron all the time on YouTube videos, and just all the time really, because cast iron is pretty popular right now. People getting away from Teflon and non-stick skillets and things like that. And I struggled through cooking, especially eggs in cast iron. If there's anything that will expose your cast iron skillet, like as far as is it gonna stick or not, it's eggs. And if you cook in cast iron, you know what I'm talking about. And I thought, how are these people cooking and just their eggs just slide around? It didn't matter what oil or anything I put, olive oil, anything like that, it's still stuck. And my pans are pretty old. I don't wash them in soapy water. I scrape them with the Pampered Chef scraper. I've read and everything about how to take care of them. I take care of them really well. They're seasoned really well, but still sometimes eggs would stick. So I'm gonna show you my trick. If you've got a trick too, leave it down in the comments on how you get things to not stick in your skillet, but I'm gonna show you my trick. All right, so here is my trick to non-stick eggs. Real butter. All right, so most of the time I make my own butter, but we use a lot of butter here in this kitchen, so sometimes I'll have to supplement and buy some. Right now, when our cows are on fresh spring grass, I have tons of butter. So I'm using butter that I had frozen that I bought from the store out of the freezer, but I have tons of cream right now to make my own. But that's just a little disclaimer. When the cows are on fresh grass for the spring, like here's an example. I was getting 2 to 3 gallons a day from my cows, and the last week I'm getting like 5 gallons a day between the two of them. So definitely their production jumps up because they're getting so many vitamins and minerals and just things they need from that fresh, tender spring grass. And butter's the same way. So we'll have really, really good quality yellow butter this time of year because of all the spring grass. So anyway, I'm gonna get started. Another key on cooking a good egg, because Emily does not like crusty eggs with the crust and crunch on the outside of them when you're eating a fried egg. She just does not like that. She likes it soft, So don't have your heat too high. That's another key. Okay, first off, I'm gonna crack, these are not organic. So these are the ones that were just fed the regular feed. You can see that's a really nice yellow color. Actually, that's getting closer to an orange color. Okay, so this is one of the ones that was fed the organic feed. So I'm gonna say they look really similar. Let me turn the slide on. They look really similar. And I'm going to keep these as sunny side up, or fried eggs is what I call them. Probably not sunny side up because I am going to flip them, but I am going to taste the yolk separately. I'm going to salt and pepper them a little bit. Okay, so these are still in the same position. Not organic, organic. Okay, I'm gonna try these yolks is what I'm gonna try. So I've still got not organic over here on my right and organic over here on my left. So I'm gonna try the not organic first, because that's what I have all the time. It's good. It's what I have all the time though. Okay, I'm gonna try organic. See if it tastes any different. It's good too. To be honest, it doesn't taste any different to me. They both look the same shade. I showed you that a while ago. Really orange, so that denotes that they're really healthy chickens and really healthy eggs. Because honestly, we've had some in the past that we kept shut up in a chicken coop, like in the barn. They never got out and scratched around for bugs. They weren't out in the sun and all that. And we did get some really pale yellow yolks going at one time that were pretty tasteless. Both of these are good. I don't think there's any way to determine in a home experiment what is translating through those eggs if you're feeding a non-organic GMO feed. But I also think in the real world, yeah, if I could, I would feed everything organic and non-GMO. But in the real world, a one-income family, we just simply can't afford to do that. So I guess my conclusion would be the eggs have got to be healthier. There's just no way around it. When you're taking out pesticides and all the herbicides off the grasses the chickens might be eating and things like that, they've got to be healthier. So if I'm ever at a point that I feel like I can do it, I probably will. Because I was pleased with the fact that the eggs did not like lose quality. Because honestly, when you're taking out a lot of the things that, even though they are not organic, those things that they're making the conventional feed out of, they have studied and determined that those things are good for making eggs. So when you go a more natural route, I was wondering, you know, is the egg production gonna slack way off because we're taking those things out? And it didn't. And I would just also say, by the proof of my Azure standard drop, how many people buy it, they must be pleased with it. So I would say definitely the quality and number of eggs didn't go down. And there's no way to determine at like a molecular level how much they increased. So it's a personal judgment call. If you can afford it and want to do it, I say do it. I don't think you're gonna in any means suffer from it. So anyway, I gotta get on with my day. I'm gonna take y'all with me. One more thing I wanted to show you. I'm not sure if I showed you the finished eggs when I got them cooked, but like I was telling you, if your cast iron pans stick and you wind up with those crusty eggs, some people like that crunchy outside. My family just doesn't. But when you cook them with butter and go slow, I don't know if you can see the egg white on that. It's very soft. So that's what you get when you use butter. I mean, do whatever you want, but I just thought, I had discovered that not long ago. Someone said, cook your eggs in butter. It works so much better. It is like genius. So anyway. Well, good morning. I showed y'all the egg tasting experiment, and that was actually yesterday. I was gonna get outside and vlog and show y'all some stuff, but we are having the most crazy amount of rain. I looked out yesterday, and the billboards I put on the back garden, a couple of them, we staked them down seriously good. But this storming we're having is tons of rain and tons of wind here, which I'm not complaining. I know there's tornadoes and stuff going on everywhere. There's actually a front stalled out like around eastern Oklahoma and eastern Texas, northwest Arkansas, and storms are just riding along that front. We're not getting like the severe tornadoes and stuff, thankfully, but there are a lot of people that are, a lot of damage. All our neighbors up in Missouri. I've been thinking about y'all. So, but we're getting tons of rain, and it blew and it flooded so much that it pulled those stakes up we put in to hold down the billboard, just basically like floated them out of the ground. So there was water on top of the billboard, so a lot of them stayed in place, but a couple places did not. So I got out here, got muddy and wet trying to get these spread back out because I've planted in them. So the places it pulled up, it uprooted a few of my little baby plant starts. Think I might have saved them. Then we had to dodge the storms to go move the cows in the rain. So I just didn't get much footage yesterday. Came to the end of the day and I told Ben, I said, I don't have a video. And he said, it's okay. We'll just not put one up tonight. It'll be fine. So here we are the next day. Now it's morning time and the kids and I are gonna race out, try to get the cows moved. I was gonna show you this billboard. So obviously we're gonna have to stake it down a little bit better. I think we're gonna line some of these seams with some bricks or something to hold it down, because spring is pretty rough here in Arkansas as far as weather goes. It'll settle down here. Usually the month of May starts settling down for us and it's more predictable weather pattern, but March, April, and the early part of May is can be pretty volatile. So we just gotta make sure these things stay down. So right over there you can see the water standing. That's because I was out there stomping around and it's so soft I was sinking. But it had pulled up those little baby plants, and that little piece right there especially had wadded back up. It pulled the stakes out of that piece. So cinder blocks for the moment is doing the job. All these little places holding water are places I had to get in there and walk around. That little spot out there was also wadded up. And I don't know if you can tell, but the plants look fine around it, even though they were uprooted. I poked them back in the ground. I think they'll be okay. All right, the kids and I are out early. We're gonna take y'all with us to move the cows, give you a peek at them. So let's go. They're waiting on breakfast. I found someone else waiting on breakfast, aren't you?
Yeah.
Scrambled eggs.
No.
They're waiting on him. Waiting on their cow whisperer. Good morning, girls. That little group right down there that you can see off by themselves is my milk cows that are out here. They are not part of the group. Got it. So we are having to, for right now, on this pass back up this side of the field, keep them off this water line because it's not settled enough. We don't want a broken leg of a cow. So this is more work than usual because we're having to extend this line. You can see Lane's walking down beside it. So that line's not usually there. It's normally just a big rectangle, but we're cutting this part off just for this time. Hopefully by their next pass, the ground will be settled enough that they won't just sink way down and either break the water line or break their leg. But they are creatures of habit. You can see they're following him. Even though I'm at the entrance, they know him. lane's way down there. We use hand signals. Now he's going to tighten it up. All right, I'm heading way down there to take up pigtails to hold this line up, okay? You stay here for a minute.
Okay.
All right? Normally this is no problem to pull this big trough, but as much rain as we're having, this may or may not be happening. We've had to just let them come back. They call it a sacrifice pasture when you let them come back to where they've already been. Because every day when they move, we trap them out of where they just were, but yesterday there was no moving the trough. So we had to let them come back. This damage is not all from yesterday. It had already been done, which surprisingly will recover pretty quickly if you get them off of it. It's already happened on the other side last week with flooding rain. But we're going to attempt to get this water trough moved so we can trap them out of here. We'll see. A bunch of attempts, we got the water trough moved. We're racing a storm. I don't know if you can see the sky over there. It's dark. There's a whole big cluster of storms, lightning and all that coming. I don't want to be out here in that. So we're getting the water moved. We normally have a guard wire behind them and in front of them, so if they get out of their paddock, they're still in another paddock, but we don't have time to move all those right now. We'll have to come back later. So we barely made it back to the house before the storms hit this morning. It's late afternoon now. We showed y'all us trying to move the cows before the storms hit. Like I said, we barely made it back. And supposedly it was gonna clear off this afternoon and be somewhat clear, so we headed inside to do school and wait out the storms, and then we were gonna come out and feed. It's late afternoon, it just stopped raining. My glasses are getting covered in raindrops. We wound up having a line of storms come through. We were under a moderate risk of severe weather here in Arkansas, but it wasn't for here, it was for east of here. But our weather radio and my phone started going off during school time with the kids, and there was tornado warnings all over central Arkansas. Some of them headed for our farm, some of them for right over some of our friends' places. Some of them are on YouTube. But thankfully us and those we know that we contacted to check on are okay so far. All we had was super major flooding rain. It has rained all day long. So I'm going to turn around and show you the poor garden. I'm hoping it's going to be okay, that this will recede and things will be okay, but it is a mess right now. So you can look down through here and just see the river that was flowing down through here. And then you can see on every row there's water standing. And I'm not going to go over there because I will sink if I try. But right over there, some of my beautiful little tomato plants are broken. In fact, quite a few of them are broken. I can see them from here. And then way over there, let's see, over there, that is where Ben planted the buckwheat, and it is completely underwater. So there is tons of water everywhere. It's okay. We got a river flowing down our driveway. It'll be okay. I'm thankful, you know, it didn't damage our house or something. I haven't looked around to see if there's trees down or anything. I'm hoping not, but it is what it is. I'll replant tomatoes if I have to. Tomatoes can be replanted. People in these situations are definitely the main concern. If people are okay, things can be replaced. This whole backyard is just underwater. Y'all know, but if there's one thing as homesteaders that you're not in control of, I mean, there's a lot of things, but one thing, you are not in control of the weather. So you've got to just roll with the punches, which is what I'm trying to do. We'll just have to make the best of it. If some things don't make it, they just don't make it. I hate it, but me crying over it won't help. I'll just deal with it as the time comes. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good, really.
We deal with a lot of severe weather here. Every state, a lot of people say, well, I don't know how you live where there's tornadoes. Every state has something. If you don't have tornadoes, you might have mudslides or hurricanes or earthquakes or, you know, things like that. So you just have to learn to deal with it and go with it as the time comes. I'm super thankful those we've talked to are okay. My parents were actually down in the midst of Little Rock today for doctor's appointments, and they wound up having damage there, overturned trucks, there was a school bus off in a ditch, all kinds of stuff. I'm thankful that my parents are safe, and it actually sounds like I haven't heard yet of any fatalities or anything, and in these kinds of situations, that's a good thing. So I think I've gotten a couple drops of water on this camera lens, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're trying to clean up, wrap up, get ready for Baker Creek. Baker Creek is still on. If you haven't heard, it is still going on. They are not canceling. They actually said that their rain had moved through and they were starting to, the rain and floodwaters were receding some, so that it was looking pretty good up there. But they did say there's a bridge out on one of the routes into Baker Creek, and I don't think it's the most highly traveled route, but there's a bridge out, so our road is closed. So check that out if you're heading up that way. Just make sure your route is open. I'm wrapping this up. I will see y'all tomorrow. We love you guys. Thanks for watching, and God bless.